Stanley Wallace is absent, Mr. Shane Landry is absent, and Councilmember Byrd is absent.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. This time we'll go down to item 2, status of borough pit ordinance and revision. You have anything?
Yeah, I should have you a rough draft next week. We've, like I can tell you pretty much what we're trying to do.
Go ahead, tell us.
Basically, after looking at about 3 different variations in the ordinance, what we concluded was that we were going to create more problems than we were going to fix if we tried to come up with a new ordinance, because then we'd have the whole problem with applicability towards the older pits that are already open. So in the end, we came to the conclusion that our best answer was to take the 12 ordinance and put more enforcement issues in it and actually come up with some more regulation to add to it. So basically, we're going to tweak the 12 ordinance to include more regulation in terms of compliance and making sure that we can actually ensure it.
So you will have an ordinance to be prepared to go for vote before the council the next meeting.
When you say the next council meeting?
No, next borough pit.
Yeah, I should have.
Because we got to come to a closure with this. This has been going on too long.
I agree. I just, my thought would be, I should probably have it drafted by the end of next week.
So you will, but if we draft it, then we can have it done.
Yes.
For the next committee meeting, then we can present before the council for approval. Okay.
I would just like to be able to put it together as a draft.
Sure.
So I can circulate it to you all.
All right,
comments,
that's fine.
Whatever you think, and get some feedback on it.
All right, Tia, will have any questions, comments? Bob, you have any comments?
No.
Administration, Councilman?
No, sir.
Okay. The other thing we want the administration to look at is, we want to look at is the people that's in charge and supposedly monitoring the pits.
Yes.
And we would like to consider some changes.
Okay.
Okay, so the administration have all that ready for the next meeting.
Okay.
All right. Yes, sir.
I think you need to, wait, hold on, Ms. Wilson. I think you need to go elaborate a little bit better, because Mr. Barber wasn't in here earlier to hear your earlier comments.
My point is to get rid of people that are doing their job, bottom line.
Well, we have that cooperative endeavor agreement with the sheriff, where we're paying him $19,000.
I ain't talking about that.
Mr. Osterlet.
No,
That's what I would agree, because it doesn't seem like we get anything out of that.
nothing happened.
I would agree. That was one of the things we
And
would
I can tell you this, the other thing we would like for all the funding for new consultant firm comes out of the borough pit funding that we receive for the borough pits. That pay those people's salary, or that person's salary, or whatever we have to hire to maintain the competency of being effective.
Yes, sir. That's why I think my suggestion had been earlier, along those lines, was hiring somebody full-time
Right.
with a dedicated stream out of those fees.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question on the draft. You know, will it be available for the public and concerned citizens and pit operators and stuff before it just comes here, and then, you know, y'all adopt it or something, that we'd at least be prepared to make comment on it?
The only thing we're gonna do is look at it, and if we all agree, then we'll make a recommendation to go
Correct.
before the council with it. Because the council has to approve that, and not this committee. We're just gonna review it, and once we get the document, I don't see why you can't get a copy. It's public information.
Okay.
Yeah, but it need to be understood that this has been a long time trying to get something in place. And it's not going to be a long, drawn-out thing. We're hoping to expedite this process, to get something in law that everybody's going to be on the same page, and we want to get it to the council and get it approved and move
All
on.
right. So all this stuff is public information, am I not right?
Yes, sir.
Right,
It's public information, which means people have access to it.
right.
We're not gonna be denied for that.
But
But
if
just
you
like
get-
I said, but we're gonna move forward.
But if you get if you have all of the pits, you know, the pit owners, you know, jockeying for it, want to
No.
have this in and take something out and remove it, you'll be trying to come to a consensus down for a long time. So I think we need to go into this in a manner that we want to expedite this, because it's been long overdue.
Anybody else? Any comment from anybody else? Thank you, Mr. Attorney Barber, appreciate that.
And I apologize for the length it's taken, but we've kind of come up with about 3 or 4 different
We
ideas.
got 30 days for the next meeting.
We pitched them, and then we kind of went back and looked at it again and said, no, we're going to have a problem with this, because I wanted to just speak. I worked a lot with the guys who've been handling the open litigation to make sure I wasn't creating more problems than I was
appreciate
fixing. So I think we'll have a good product when we're done, and, you know, I would really invite everybody to read it, take a look at it, and I'm open to suggestion.
Right. We just need to come to closure.
Yes, sir, I understand.
Need more accountability, and we need to be placed on this process, because we are constantly getting looked over, screwed, really.
Yes, sir.
The government's getting screwed out.
And like Ms. Aldridge
Share
said,
funding.
you know, do it as quickly as possible, that way we,
Right.
less procrastination.
Yes, sir.
And get rolling. Yes, sir.
All right. No, being no other comments? Number 3, assessment. Assessor's not here today, so Madam Secretary, would you please put her on notice?
I will.
Ask the next councilman, she have all the assessment information ready to be presented. And if she can, just send us a copy prior to or before to you,
Okay.
and you can disseminate that to the members,
Yes, sir.
okay? So we can look at it and see what's what. Any comments on that, on item 3? 4, discussion of Randy Ocelot. Anybody have any comments? As far as I'm concerned, it need to be replaced, bottom line. And I'm not being political, I'm not being disenfranchised, but it's a job, and people are not doing their job, and we get paid to do your job, and you're not doing it, so you need to be replaced. That's just my opinion, that's an opinion I have,
You need to put that
you know?
in a resolution, or you just want to make a
Whatever you wanna do.
recommendation and I'll second it?
Whatever you want to do. You have it ready? You already have some stuff being done for us, the legal team. So we're drawing up the information so we can carry on to the next meeting to determine it if need be, whatever legal advice we need to have, and bring it before the council, and let the council approve on it. Because all that has to be done by council approval. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just one question. I had sent in an email to you and copied all the councilmen and the administration requesting certain information. One of the items was the copy of the Myers Engineering contract and all reports with invoice and payments to date, and reference to Section 1893, Paragraph A of the ordinance. And to this date, I mean, I had a list of 8 other things that I have not gotten
All
one
that-
reply
all
to.
It was sent to the administration's office for them to provide that information to you.
And I
Why
met
it
with...
hasn't been done, I don't know, and nobody here can answer that.
Well, I met
Now
with,
do-
with the attorney on this, gave him a copy of this also, and just cannot get this information. I think even in, going forward, you know,
Right.
this is something, I think, if you don't have knowledge of it,
I don't have the documentation, sir.
well, that's what I'm saying.
And if I don't have documentation, I can't prove what I say.
Okay.
You know
So
what I'm saying?
where do I go to get the information?
Well, the administration, that's what I'm calling. That's why I said.
I went to,
Well, come back by the office today, and I'll go find out where Shane is on it, because he should have been pulling it together.
It was
is-
sent,
The
Well, I
biggest
know.
problem we have is we request things, just because we're the legal department, doesn't mean they're necessarily giving them to us unless I go run and chase somebody down. So it's not as easy as it sounds just to say, Shane, give them this, because we don't always have it. We have to go to the department. I have to get the departments to give it to me. So not as easy as it sounds always. Everybody's shorthanded. So,
I can meet with Amos and see what he says, and give you a call and let you know what happens, where it is, and the time frame on it for you.
okay.
Because just like you said, public information, public records, they have to provide that information to you from that standpoint.
I didn't know if there's something on freedom of information that I got to file to give them a time limit on the
I guess
answer
if they wanted
thing.
you to file it, they should have sent you a notice saying that we have to have that, well, the request being a public request to do that, and if they didn't, maybe then they don't need it. But we'll find out. I can find that.
Okay. I mean, you know, all the questions I had, I thought were pertinent to finding out what was
Sure.
going on. And it just seems like the administration, somehow it's always an excuse on somebody not doing their job. And
We tired of excuses.
I know, you know, we cut salaries on certain people that don't do their job, and other ones who don't do their job don't get cut in their salaries. So, you know, it's from a public standpoint, it's not working.
Okay, Any other information by that? This time, I would like to ask
Make a
Ms.
motion.
Permit Department, y'all have any input? Anything? y'all like?
Nothing nothing changed from last time. I mean, I'm waiting on 2 annual renewal fees from Woodland Bar
Woodland.
Pits, yeah.
It's in the
So
mail.
we
It's
have,
in the
we have
mail.
everybody else's?
We're up, yeah.
Everybody.
From the last time, yeah. Well, no, we got their 2, and then we have Plaquemine Dirt and Clay due in September.
Oh, they're not due now,
No.
but everybody's on,
Everybody else is up.
is up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll have something for you for the
Next meeting, great. Okay, anybody have any other comments? Comments, anybody? Stage call.
Motion to accept the minutes?
Make a motion to accept the minutes. Mr. Aldridge, second.
Second.
Mr. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Bartholomew?
Yes.
Councilmember Edgecombe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Councilmember Trufant Salvat?
Yes.
And Mr. Marty?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, and Mr. Hitchcock.
Yes, and make a motion adjourn?
Mr. Hitchcock make a motion to adjourn, second by Ms. Salver. Call the roll, Madam Secretary.
Councilmember Bartholomew?
Yes.
Councilmember Trufant Salvat? Councilmember Edgecombe?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Marty?
Yes.
Total waste.
We adjourn at what time, please?
10:51.
10:51. Appreciate you coming, sir.